Hey everybody, we are the Jersey Comic Crew, and on today's episode, we are talking our reaction and review of Falcon Winter Soldier, Episode 5.
What's up, everybody? Rob and Chris here from the Jersey Comic Crew, and today, as Chris just said, we are talking Falcon and the Winter Soldier, Episode 5, titled Truth. Now, this is your spoiler warning, guys. We're going to talk about a lot of the big moments in this episode, because we just gotta spew our guts about it. We love this so much. Chris, this is the penultimate episode of the series. We have one more left. This episode did not disappoint. This was definitely, in all versions of it, the layup episode, right? It was setting everything up here, but the moments that we got really hit home. The whole arc with Sam trying to figure out if he's worthy enough to get Captain America's shield and use it was fantastic. And I was so happy to see Sam and Bucky taking down John Walker, taking that shield back. I mean, we saw some crazy things. His wings got ripped off. John Walker almost won. I got scared, man. But it was freaking amazing.
It was very a la Civil War, taking Iron Man down. Except everyone wasn't crying by the end of it. We were just cheering as the poor man's arm got snapped off. You could tell he's kind of clearly lost it, right? He's kind of like, where 100%. Am I? I just need somewhere to kind of get my bearings. And then you have them waiting there. I love Bucky's line where he's like, you don't want to do this. He's like, yeah, we do. Like, we've been wanting to do this the whole time. We want to kick your ass and take the shield. And John was kind of just this, you feel he was a savage, and he's an amazing fighter, right? Like, we know he's a good soldier. That was never the question. It's just how much of him is kind of left in there after taking the serum and making those decisions, right? Like, what is so amped up in him that the serum's making it double. So that was a great scene, and it kind of tailed into his hearing, where he's basically screaming at them like, are you kidding me? You made me. Like, this is as much your fault as it's mine. You didn't pull the trigger or drop the shield.
I live and breathe by your mandates, and you're doing this to me. I was like, yes, John. Yeah. Holy shit. I hate you, but like, I feel for you in that moment.
Well, absolutely, and that's kind of what Marvel has been doing so well with their villains, right? They're kind of making them a little multi-layered and a little bit more understanding, and not everything's just black and white villain and evil. Like, even Loki, who's like the most classic villain, has redeemable qualities in the MCU. So John Walker getting there and kind of having that moment going back against the people that made him and back against kind of all of his, if you think about it, in episode 1, right? He's very much questioning, like, can I do this? Like, he's in the locker room. We see him. What am I going to do? Can I do this? And now it's like, no, I did this not just for me, but for you as well. And this is where I ended up.
Right after the trial, though, he's sitting on the bench with his wife. I'm assuming that's a wife. I keep forgetting. His female compatriot, if you will. And he's a broken man. And then we see this tall glass of water come in. Contessa, I can't even say her name. Well, I think she's Madam Hydra, right? She comes in, she talks to him, and he's like, listen, man. They like what you did, but they have to protect what's on the surface, you know what I'm saying? So here's my card, nothing on it, because she's a cool, edgy spy.
Fantastic.
Like, whatever, okay. And she's like, I'll call you, just answer the call, and she walks away. Like, I was like, what who are you? Why am I seeing you? I have one episode left. I don't have time for this.
I don't have time. Ain't nobody got time for that.
Nobody got time for your mysterious womanly ways.
But I loved it. Talk about out of left field, Julie Louis-Dreyfus. As a huge fan of Seinfeld and Veep, that was more than happy to see her show up as Contessa Valentina Allegra Contessa Valentina Allegra De Fontaine.
And they say, what did they say? Call it Tessa or something in your mind?
Call me Val, but don't call me Val. Just think it in your head.
Think Val. I'm going to say her Val. I can't say that whole frick. I can't even read your name. I'm just saying Val.
I can't even read it.
Yeah.
You could have had the card without being blank. I still want to know.
Yeah, I'm like, oh, this is some fancy lady.
But yeah, no, the Contessa is a very, like, if you think Black Widow or Nick Fury or anyone from Hydra or AIM or like super spies.
Yep.
She's up there with the top back from the 60s Steranko era. And we're going to break her down way more in the next video in our Easter eggs, but just a little like hint, she is all over the place. She's rarely what she seems.
True.
And she's a major character kind of throughout comic history. She just kind of shows up in little places where your mind isn't really supposed to notice she's there. So the fact that they got kind of this, which is great about the MCU, right? They could just pull characters from every which direction and kind of implant them in storylines. And I'm sure we'll see her in other things because you're going to pay Julia Louis-Dreyfus to be in it, right? It was just
she's definitely going to be like the handler or like the person that makes John Walker to a U.S. agent. She's going to be like that secret one for the government. Like, hey, we need someone like you, but like not on the up and up. You know what I'm saying? You can't be Captain America. You could just be U.S. agent. You could just do the dirty work that we need to get done.
You too could have blank business cards.
Exactly, right? Oh, that wouldn't that be so cool? One thing I want to talk about real quick: Sharon Carter, right?
Yeah.
And she makes a call. She says, "Hey, I need you to do me a favor."
You speak French?
No, I have subtitles on.
Oh,
I always have subtitles on because one, I'm an anime weeb, two, like if something happens outside, like I can still see it. And I was like, oh, that's Batroc. Batroc. I remember our first episode where Chris told me that was the bad guy in Captain America. She's talking to the bad guy to meet with the other bad guys to do more bad guy things. I'm thinking she's a she's a power broker, right? She has to be somebody evil.
Now we're back on the train.
We're back on the train. She's telling Batroc to go kill Falcon, hang up with Karli, and do these evil things. I don't trust Sharon Carter no more, man. I'll tell you what. After she learned to speak after she talks French like that, that's it. You're done in my book.
You sounded like one of the people that live in Sam's town, in the Creole town, one of the fishermen.
That'd be me.
That'd be me, boy. That'd be me. But yeah, no, Sharon, I love what they're doing because, right, as fans, we can't decide. Is she the power broker? Is she working for the power broker? Is she somehow connected to the power broker? Is she doing something else? I think she is now. I think she has to be, because I don't think the Contessa is. I don't think Val is the power broker. I think she's something else entirely.
I don't
even necessarily think she's Madam Hydra. I think the Hydra storyline's kind of done.
Okay.
I think there's a couple more storylines to pull from that are possibilities. We know that there's going to be Secret Invasion going on. In
True.
Secret Invasion, she is a Skrull in the comic. Like, she actually ends up being a Skrull. And in the comic, she's very connected to Nick Fury. Nick Fury's kind of the last time we know or heard of him in space, possibly with the Skrulls. There's a Skrull on Earth pretending to be Nick Fury.
Yeah.
That's a major possibility that she's a Skrull. So I don't know if that's connected to the power broker. It seems like she's kind of doing something else separately to me. But absolutely, the Batroc conversation, that to me was not only like, hey, do this and I'll double your money.
Yeah.
But to me was also like, hey, here are your orders, right? Like, here's what I need you to do for me.
Mm-hmm.
And you'll get your chance at Sam Wilson. The fact that we know that Batroc wants to kill the Falcon, right? He tells Karli, I'm here for the Falcon. I want to kill the Falcon. That to me is like Sharon's on the other side, man. She's pissed with everybody. By the way,
Karli in this episode, like overall, Karli for me has been weak. But anytime I see the technological side of the Flag Smashers, like she pressed a button and everybody starts to mobilize, I was like, that's the scary stuff that I need to see with the Flag Smashers. I think they need to lean a little bit more into that instead of like this resistance fighter refugee, but kind of a bad guy, kind of a good guy. It felt like it was a little all over the place with her. But we got to talk about Sam Wilson, the Falcon, fantastic in this episode. And this episode, he went back to talk to Isaiah Bradley, and we see Isaiah Bradley. He's that gruff old man. He's like, I don't need that shield. He's like, no self-respecting black man would wear that shield. And like, just to hear his story and like all the stuff he's went through, and like how his loved one tried to send him letters. It was in a box. He can have access to it. He's dead. He wants to stay dead. If Sam tries to help him, he's not going to be happy anymore. It was just so powerful to hear his story fleshed out more in the Marvel Cinematic Universe.
For me, it was actually up there with one of the best scenes I've seen in Marvel, and it wasn't even about the subject matter, which is obviously close to home for me, but it was just the kind of brutal honesty that you don't see a lot in the MCU, right? Like, because again, it's a fantasy world of superheroes. Like, there's Scarlet Witches flying around and Thor's, gods with hammers and people who turn into giant green monsters. That brutal honesty sometimes gets taken out of the fantasy. And I think that with that conversation about, the flag and how this man kind of lived the same way as Steve Rogers, right? He mentions, I survived, and with the Tuskegee stuff and all that horridness, I survived this, and then I went out to go find my friends and find the people I served with, like Steve Rogers did in the first Cap, right? He goes out to find Bucky and those soldiers, brings them back, and he gets the hero's welcome. Isaiah comes back and they put him in jail for 30 years. Like, it's crazy, and it's absolutely relevant. It's absolutely political, but too bad, right? Like, that's the times we live in. But I thought one of the best parts was their kind of conversation about, the flag and being Captain America. Like, you're not going to let a black man be Captain America, and no self-respecting black man would want to. And Sam kind of was like, well, I'll show you. I want to, right? Like, and that's okay.
He, at that point, he didn't, like, it wasn't clear to me that he's like, I want to, I'm going to do this. He kind of was taking it. He's like, yo, maybe I don't want to do this. He's like, I think I want to do this. I don't know if I want to do this. Even though he never verbally said he was going to do it. Like, you can still see he was battling, at least to me, from my perspective, in that moment.
No, I agree with you 100% that he's battling and very internal, right? Sam, this whole kind of series has been very internal. But there's a line where Isaiah Bradley's like, I used to be like you once, like optimistic and hopeful. And that's kind of hinting like, like Sam kind of wants to be this symbol, but maybe doesn't know how, or doesn't know how it's going to work, or is worried about the acceptance factor. And that relates to a lot of people in this country, not to get political, but like a lot of people look at the flag and are either afraid of it because they don't think it represents them, or they think it belongs to someone else. And that's a misconception we all have to get over in one way or another, that the American flag is for everybody, right? No one person owns it. So I think Sam in that moment is kind of like, holy crap, like, in a way, this is worse than I thought it would be, because I don't want this to be me, like, looking into my future. But at the other side is like, I also can't lose that stuff that made me. And he even says, like, Steve isn't like that. Like, he knows Steve. Like, Steve didn't represent any of that.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's part of the hope. So it was a magically beautiful scene. I think they really did it well.
Last thing I wanted to touch base upon was the training montage and the whole Bucky Sam bromance, and then like Bucky's trying to hit on Sam's sister, and they playfully joke. He's like, "You can stay here as long as you don't hit on my sister." He's like, "All right," right? And it was just fun. And then just seeing him throw the shield back and forth, like almost like a game of catch between two superheroes. They catch it, grab it. As they're talking out the problems, Sam gives that tough love. Sam gives that tough love to Bucky, saying, "Hey, do the work. Actually make amends." So hopefully we're going to see Sam talk to the guy.
Yuri.
Thank you. Hopefully we're going to see Sam talk to Yuri, who we know he killed his son, and he's going to make amends. He's like, "Oh, I'm sorry I killed your son, but we can still go out for some dumplings and hit on hot waitresses," right?
Waitresses. And play Battleship.
Seeing Sam do that montage, I was like, man, he is jacked. He's prepared to be Captain America. And then he did the flip. I was like, oh, my man did the flip. I'm so hyped to see him, and we know what's in the box, right?
What's in the box?
In the box is his super suit, the Captain America Falcon super suit that Wakandan's made for him. We know it's there. I'm gonna see it at the end of the episode, and I'm gonna scream like a little 12-year-old girl.
Yeah, absolutely. It's gonna be really cool, because I think for comic fans especially, this is gonna be kind of a huge redemption, because even myself, like when Sam became Captain America in the comics, it wasn't like a fun kind of happy-go-lucky great story, or like a relief story of like, oh my god, this is possible. He was kind of a douche in the comics as Captain America. They kind of tried to change his personality tweaks a little too much, but I'm very excited to see how this series ends. I don't think it's going to be over, by the way.
It can't. There's just so many different tendrils out there right now, right? Like, you have the Madam Hydra stuff. You have... Oh, maybe Joaquin's going to be the Phoenix, sorry. Maybe Joaquin's going to be the Falcon, because like...
Or the Phoenix.
Or the Phoenix. We don't know what's happening, like, because he left the wings there, right? We have Batroc trying to go after them. We have Karli still doing the thing. Like, Zemo. We didn't see Zemo in this episode. We have no idea where... well, actually, Zemo...
We got him taken.
He got... he's in jail. But, like that's not the end of Zemo. Like, there's so many different things that could go into. And we still have no idea who the power broker is or what that even means. So, I agree. I don't think it's the end.
I don't think so too. And Feige even came out and said, like, series like Falcon Winter Soldier and Loki have more chances of having multiple seasons. Like, more like WandaVision was more like its own thing because it connects to the movies. Falcon Winter Soldier, I think, could go for a couple seasons, because if you think about it, right, the Marvel Cinematic Universe right now is kind of back in that mode of origin stories for new characters,
Rebuilding.
and
Yep.
rebuilding their kind of mass roster, as well as adding on to who they have, right? Doctor Strange hasn't had a sequel, and we've seen him in a bunch of things with the Avengers and Thor, even in a cameo, but he's had one movie.
Mm-hmm.
So, like, there's other characters they need to start building up, other big characters, and I think you could take some of these legacy characters, which is kind of genius with Disney Plus, right? Falcon, Winter Soldier, Loki, who knows, Moon Knight, all these street-level characters, and add on their stories where it's like, okay, I'm going to the movies for this big new thing like Shang-Chi and the Eternals, but here I'm at home. I have that comfortability of stuff I know already. I've known Sam and Bucky for 10 years,
and it's
already.
also world building, right? Because we're learning more of the, I don't want to say street level, but like the human level side of the MCU. Like, oh, this is how the government's reacting. This is what they're doing. This is how it's evolving. And in the MCU, in the movies, like you kind of miss that part unless like you were a super huge fan of Captain and Winter Soldier and like all that kind of stuff. It paid a lot of attention. Like if you just watch it as a popcorn movie, you might have missed some of the nuances of the government building. But now you're getting that thrown into your face. So I'm really excited.
Any last thoughts of predictions for the finale? You want me to do mine first? Or?
Do yours first.
Okay.
I don't have any. I'll think of something, sure, but
I'm going with we're not going to see Zemo again.
No, I agree.
Unless it's the after credit scene.
I'm with you on that.
I think because you could honestly have season 2 just be Baron Zemo, and like Wakanda maybe. Who knows? If that's the case, I think the Karli thing will be wrapped up by this season. I don't see her being a more than one season villain.
I'm with you on that because she's a weak villain. I think
maybe the Flag Smashers evolves and lives on. And I think we're gonna see obviously Falcon, Captain Falcon as I like to call him, show me your boots, has to go against U.S. Agent John Walker. We got to see the Caps battle it out. We got to see Bucky hopefully take down Batroc for good, and make a decision as well with Karli, because at the moment it seems like Bucky keeps repeating like it seems like there's only one way to stop this. So I think we're gonna get either Sharon Carter's a power broker, kind of a tease into whatever Zemo's mixed up in, which might be the Thunderbolts, which I'll talk about more in the next episode.
Maybe.
And then all of this kind of stuff, because it's going to be hard to kind of close off and tie a bow around all these open ends. You know?
The only thing I want to disagree with, I don't think it's hard for me to say, but I don't think we're going to get John Walker as U.S. agent. But like we got the after credit scene, he's making the shield, so like they're not going to drag that out. So we're going to get that fight.
Yeah.
I feel like there's so much to do in that last episode that like something's going to be dropped off, right? And I think it's going to be the Karli situation. I think Karli's the means to an end for John Walker, and I don't think we're going to get a big final act with her. It might turn into the Flag Smashers becoming the Flag Smasher, and like all of them are gone, and like Karli's giving it up except for her one friend who's there, and then he adorns that and like moves forward. Maybe I
could see Walker picking them off one by one, getting to Karli. Just killing them left and right.
Oh, I think that makes a lot more sense story-wise. Like, you see John Walker, he's the U.S. agent. He's killing them off one by one. Falcon and Bucky get back in to stop it. They save Karli, so it's just her left, right? And she's not, like, villain anymore. She's like, you know what? I'm going to jail. That's fine. And then they have to stop him. I'm down with that. And, guys, we want to hear your theories for the final episode of Falcon and the Winter Soldier. Let us know what you thought of this episode down in the comments below.
And guys, thanks so much for watching. Give us a thumbs up, like, really helps the channel out a lot. If you're brand new, subscribe, turn on those notifications. You do not want to miss any more of the Falcon Winter Soldier, especially the finale. And as always, I'm Chris Heller. That's Rob Moran. We're the Jersey Com Crew, and we'll see you next time.